If you're a beginner looking for some hip and glute exercises, you're in the right place. I'm going to show you 5 exercises I like to do with my clients all the time. They're some of my staples, and I highly recommend them. First things first, I want you to grab a light resistance band. I like the Perform Better bands. The yellow one is a great place to start. If at any point the band is too hard, you don't need to use a band. That's totally fine. All these exercises can be performed without one. All right, so first things first, we're gonna do a lateral raise. So with the lateral raise, you're just gonna place that band around your ankles. You're gonna lie on your side, like so, and you're going to raise your leg and come back down. Up, down, up, down. Nice and controlled, always. You're looking to feel it in your glutes, kind of on the side. Okay. From here, you're going to move that band up above your knees. You're going to go back on your side, and we're going to do some clamshells. These are a staple. They're a classic. You probably see them all the time in physical therapy. All right, so to perform a clamshell, your hip angle is going to be about 45 degrees. And you want your feet to stay together. You're going to rotate open and close. Rotate open and close. You don't want your lower back to arch at all, so if you feel yourself arching back like that, you want to kind of tuck forward just a little bit. Make sure you have a nice neutral spine. Rotate, close. Rotate, close. So same thing as with the lateral raise. You kind of want to feel that in your glute. This is going to help you work on some rotation. If that's too hard, you can take the band off and just hold this position. Hold it for about 30 to 45 seconds. Work your way up to a minute. This should help get some activation in that glute if you're struggling with the band. Once that's easier, you can go back to the band. From here, I'm going to have you go onto your back. You want to make sure your lower back is nice and flat against the floor. Feet about hips distance apart. And you want to make sure your knees are at the very least in line with your hips or just slightly outside of them. From here, you're going to come up, squeeze your glutes together, and come back down. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I like this pace for these exercises. It's kind of the pace most exercises should be done at anyway. And it shows that you have good control of the movement and can maintain throughout the exercise. All right. From here, you can go ahead and take this band off. You're not going to need it anymore. These next two I like as well. It's a hip extension and a pike raise or a hip flexion. So we'll start with the hip extension. So for this one, you're going to lie flat on the ground, and all you're going to do is lift your leg up from your hip. Do not bend your knee. All right, so from the hip, you're going to lift up and back down. Up and down. So sometimes people ask me, if they should keep their foot flexed or not, point their toe, doesn't really matter. I'm more concerned about your hip bone up here staying in contact with the floor. If you find that you're rolling open just to get your leg up, you might want to check in with yourself and move a little bit slower and a little bit more deliberately. So collect yourself and move slower. You want that movement to come from your butt. So if you're having a hard time with it, you might just need to squeeze your glute at first to get some of that movement and to kind of connect with how that feels before you go any further. All right. And the last one. This one always surprises people. It is pretty tough. I'm going to show it to you leaning against this chair back here. If you have a wall, couch, whichever it works. I advise sitting against something at first because it can be difficult to hold the position unless you have like a frame of reference. So for these guys, you're gonna sit up as tall as you can. All right. For this one, I find it a little bit easier to point your toe. You're gonna point your toe, keep that knee nice and straight, and you're gonna lift your leg up. You're working that hip flexor. Now, this one can be tough, can also be a little humbling, even for myself at times. And it's important to remember to just take your time. It's not uncommon for people to have a leg cramp with this one. Just try to walk it off and get back to it as best as you can. But it does happen. Happens to me sometimes as well. So you're gonna do these guys, and that's it. So those are your 5 exercises today. We had the lateral leg raise, a clamshell, a glute bridge, hip extension, and hip flexion. Subscribe to my channel for weekly updates and more exercises to come. Thank you.